Hello, welcome to Shooting the Shit with me, Ollie.
And me, Rich. You just did that so you could restart and you could say it, didn't you?
We did just have a fake start, but here we are, ready to shoot some shit again, once more.
Indeed.
Into the breach.
Episode 11. I think we should do a sort of clapback to ourselves that we've actually managed to do.
We should probably mention it, number 10, that's probably a more significant number. Speaking of which, still not up, working on it.
I will do it later on, after this one.
Excellent.
We'll do 2 episodes.
Bam, bash it out.
Boom. So what's been new, Ollie? Like, what's cracking?
Not much. Work.
It's a bit dull.
It is, but I understand you've had a more interesting weekend.
Went to Bristol.
Good old Brizzle.
That was it.
That's it.
No, I'm joking. Yeah, it's good. I just got to see the Clifton Suspension Bridge, walked around, went to a few bars.
Beautiful piece of engineering.
Beautiful engineering. I actually did stand there for a good 10-15 minutes just staring
looking at the bridge,
like,
taking it all in.
I wish I had the genius and the smarts.
I wish I had a bridge.
Yeah, I wish I could build a bridge.
Well, maybe one day you can.
That conversation's going nowhere, mate.
Also, Bristol, apparently town centre, toilets coming out of the ground. Is this true? At night, apparently urinals.
I didn't see that, I was too drunk by that point. That's happened somewhere else where I've been, though. That happens in London.
Does it?
It does, I've been somewhere in London.
Where in London?
I can't remember where. I don't really know places in London. I just happened to be drunk and out there. And people managed to get me where I need to go.
If you go to Amsterdam, there are places you can just piss in the street. It's just like this metal sheet that wraps around on itself.
Yeah.
You just go behind it and you piss. Just onto the pavement.
You just slap your dick out and just...
Well, yeah, it's not in public. Well, it is in public, but you're surrounded by this like sheet metal sort of frame, and you just whack it out, take a leak on the pavement.
Oh, sick. Did you know they're doing this new repellent thing? I saw this post.
So I've heard about that, piss repellent.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So it bounces back onto your legs. Yeah. That's not awesome.
I think it's quite funny though. Like,
yeah.
If you were like standing there, like,
and you saw someone.
Yeah. If it was you.
I don't know as well. How many times have you been?
Oh, I just make sure I'm doing someone's garden instead. No, I'm joking.
Of course, we don't condone urinating in public.
Yeah, I have excellent bladder control.
Severely illegal.
And I can control my sphincter because you know that shit's good for when it gets down to getting it in and smushing. If you control your bladder retention, apparently.
Indeed, so I hear.
You know how these myths?
I have, yes.
I'm sure no one else wants to hear about them.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure the viewers don't want to hear about your pinching anus. But
sweet. We should actually probably get on with
yeah, should we crack on? Shoot some actual shit.
Yeah.
What's been going on?
So one thing I was watching recently, I saw the adverts for it, is a show in America called White People.
I've seen it. You've shared the trailer for this before. It's pretty.
Yeah.
You carry on.
Yeah, so it's from a Pulitzer Prize Pulitzer Prize winner. And basically, he wanted to go around and talk to white Americans and find out how they feel about race and how they feel about being white people in America today. It's pretty insightful and pretty interesting. Obviously it's slanted at sort of, it's got its own agenda as what it's trying to get out there. But there were some interesting topics that I found in the that was brought up in the show. So, like, for example, there was one Caucasian lady who felt that there was more sort of this reverse discrimination. So obviously you had in
like affirmative action.
Yeah. So like you had in the 1940s and 50s and 60s and still now, I suppose some prejudice against the people of colour, as they like to say in America.
Yeah.
Or they were sort of saying in this podcast. No, not podcast, because I'm saying this in the podcast. Ignore me. I was on about in the show.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so basically they were saying that the amount of scholarships that are available seem to be biased towards getting people of colour into the universities, and that basically there was one guy who actually applied for one, who was in the process of applying, and basically he filled out what colour he was.
Okay.
He said Caucasian.
Yeah.
And as soon as he said that, like a screen came up and popped up and said basically there are no scholarships available to you. But if we actually go into the statistics, which I'm not going to go fully in depth in because it's a bit dull, there's a high proportion of white folks that are going to university in America compared to the coloured folks. And basically, there are a lot more white people getting scholarships.
Well, I mean, white people in America still make up the majority of the graduate population, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to remember as well that black people are, in America, disproportionately from a lower economic status, less likely to be able to afford it.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I still think maybe sort of scholarships should be expanded to all people from...
No, that's the thing, they are available to everyone. That's what, there was a person who's actually from a college or university board and was talking about all the scholarships that were available.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is they are available to everyone. Like, it's not just done on, I suppose, merit. There are other factors that contribute to it.
Yeah.
But if you are warranted to get that scholarship, you will get it. Like, you got to think about how many students are trying to get into university.
And but my understanding is there do exist black-only scholarships, because didn't Rachel Durzel...
Yeah, she got one. No, she didn't.
No, exactly, that was the thing. Didn't she try to sue them because they were discriminating against her for being white, which she isn't?
No, but they are discriminating against her for being white in terms of the external representation that she gives out to people due to the fact that she has got a lack of melanin. But
unfortunate for her.
Internally, she is a black woman. She's the first transracial, and if she came to the UK, I would happily go out with her.
Well, that's good to know.
We could talk about our blackness.
Let's hope she's married.
But I'm not a black man, so it's fine.
Black child.
I'm not a black child. Anyway, she's not married, she got divorced.
Oh, after this, or?
No, before then.
Oh, okay.
Unless she's married again. I know she's braiding people's hair now. But anyway, back to
what, for a living?
Yeah, for a living. Well, that's the thing, when people fuck with her, like, working for the NAACP, now she's got,
Why couldn't she keep working for the NAACP? Or I guess they just didn't trust her, because she's
white.
I was going to say deceptive, but...
Can't trust these white people.
Deceptively white.
That's really offensive. But anyway, back to the white people show. So one thing that I did find interesting is that they asked some of the Caucasian people what they see in terms of the world and whether they look in colour. But a lot of people came out with saying they don't see colour or races, which is
bullshit
and a nothing term in my eyes. Like, everyone sees in colour, but I think by you saying that I don't see in colour, it's a cop-out, and you're basically trying to trying to get some
distance between yourself and any allegations of racism.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously people are always going to notice the colour of an individual's skin, their racial identity, because we take in most of our information visually.
Yeah.
And it's a very distinct aesthetic difference. I mean, a white person, a black person, obviously look quite a bit different.
Yeah.
You just need to be able to accept that it's down to just the production of a pigment in the skin, and that's it, an adaptation. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, to pretend that you don't notice it is a bit dumb.
Yeah. It's like saying that someone's getting no, that's really offensive. I will choose to refrain from saying that.
Oh, go on.
No, but that's basically saying it's like seeing someone getting raped.
Right, Christ.
And then saying I don't see rape. But you clearly see the person.
No, there's something that's completely different, isn't it? Entirely. You should probably have kept that to yourself.
I did see that, but it's the same though. Basically.
I'm sorry, I pushed.
Okay, but there was one funny bit in the film where basically there's this white man who's giving lectures to other white students about white privilege.
Oh god.
So he's lecturing, and then like he'll have things around the board saying about different topics of white privilege, I guess, and like scenarios where white people have actually benefited, and basically he's trying to teach these individuals to think about stuff that they've got and try to change the way that society is, I guess, to an extent.
Well, I think it's kind of dangerous idea, to be honest, the way they're sort of approaching it, because they make just this broad generalization of white privilege. This is such Tumblr shit.
Yeah.
This idea that every white person is, I mean, don't get me wrong, very clearly, statistically, it's better to be white in America than it is black. And over here, statistically, I believe, not quite as bad.
Yeah.
But still there. But at the same time, you can't generalise for all white people.
Yeah.
Because a poor white person has no power, has no influence.
Yeah.
You know, has no opportunities. No different than, you know, an economically disadvantaged black person.
Yeah. I think the thing that I found most troubling about the show is that its relevance and like context to actual things that are happening today. Like, there's no need for that show to exist. Like, it could be highlighting more relevant topics. You know what I mean? Like, there's no need to make a show about white people. Like, talk about stuff that's actually interesting and is actually, you know, likely to change people's perceptions of stuff.
Maybe I'm being cynical, but I just can't help but feel that, I mean, there's a lot of people who bang on about things like white privilege and all this stuff. MTV's looking to sell ad space. You've got a hot topic, controversial issue with a provocative title.
Yeah. But more.
Maybe I'm being too cynical, but you know, that's why it was produced, is to sell ad space. I reckon.
I just feel like
I mean, the director probably.
Like, you know, of the young lady that was arrested on the side of the road and was later, a couple of days later, found hung in her prison cell.
Yeah, didn't even beat her during the arrest for not putting out a cigarette in her car.
To taser her. You know, like stuff like that is more relevant. Like, we should be showing this to teens so they don't become arsehole cops and perpetuate that cycle further.
Indeed. That would be,
For once, I'm talking sense.
Yeah, indeed. I can't poo-poo that idea. We should, you know, you should go to MTV with that idea.
Yeah?
Probably not. It probably won't be as successful.
Thanks, mate.
Simply for selling ads. I mean, it makes people have to think, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Makes people uncomfortable. I don't know. I watched the trailer. I've not watched. Is it just a one-off documentary film?
40 minutes long.
Okay, I've not watched it yet. I will definitely be giving it a watch. I watched the trailer though, and it did look like just a bunch of dopey middle-class white kids feeling guilty about being white.
I did like the little smirk on some of their faces though when like he asked a question, what disadvantages have you got for being a white person? And like none of them could answer the question. And like one of them actually did say is like, well, to be honest, everything's handed to me on the plate. And I was just like, yeah, that's true.
Again, the problem is the people they've selected, I've not watched it, but having seen the trailer, based on the trailer, these are all middle class kids, either looking to go to college, at college, or graduates. Yeah. Are they not?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, their experience of being white is hunky-dory. But if you're sort of, you know, redneck out in the middle of, you know, fuck nowhere, Alabama, then life's probably not as good. You probably don't have the same opportunities. I'm not saying there's, again, not racism, like, you know, a disadvantage for black people in general America, but I think it's probably more an economic problem. It's because black people, you know, obviously there was the slavery, there was all the sort of pre-Civil Rights Act era, the Jim Crow laws and all that shit. So, you know, it's understandable that a significant proportion of black people in the US are from low economic...
Do you not think that you just talking about the slavery and other bad things that people of the black persuasion have had to endure.
Yep.
To get to this stage now. Do you not think that making that show is very insensitive due to the fact, looking at the historical context of, you're trying to make this is probably the wrong way to put it, but the people who are the victors or the people in power, and making them look like the sympathetic side, like the people who are actually the victims.
What? Because it's showing, oh, look at these guilty white people, how hard they have it with their white guilt.
They've got to be careful that they don't say anything that's classed as inappropriate, because then they'll be seen as racist, but just don't say something that's racist and we won't say you said something inappropriate.
That's jolly good advice. Just don't be racist and then it's not an issue.
Yeah, talking about that, Hulk Hogan. Boom.
Oh yeah, no, it's been a shitty week for him.
Yeah.
I've not really watched wrestling that much for a little while. When I was younger, WWF. This was when it was WWF.
Yeah.
Sort of, The Rock, Stone Cold, Kane.
Careful that they can come and find us, those WWF people. We use that time.
Yeah, send a panda.
Yeah.
It will sort of just sleep in the garden for 18 hours. Eat food that it's not supposed to eat.
Yeah.
They are shit animals.
So I'm not really sure, absolutely everything that happened, but what I've surmised is that he had sex with someone, and then there was some issue with the fact that he made some racial slurs after the deed was done.
Yeah, so for into context, because you don't know the previous story, there was a sex tape released. Basically, a former friend of his and radio personality let him shag his wife and secretly filmed it. And then it got leaked by, I think, Gorka.
Okay.
Yeah, so that got leaked. And obviously that was embarrassing for him, shagging someone.
Yeah.
It's not his wife. I assume he's married.
He was married, I've been a divorce now.
Well, fair enough.
That's probably
he's sleeping around.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, then recently more footage has come to light of him, using racial slurs.
So that's disappointing. But what I think is even more disappointing is that WWE have completely wiped.
They've not, I think, completely wiped him off their website. Just pretty much, he's very difficult to find.
Yeah.
It's it's a bit weird because whilst you can, obviously end your contract with him.
Yeah.
Maybe not place as much emphasis on him in your merchandise and stuff because obviously you don't want it to be associated with racism.
Yeah.
But to wipe, I mean, he's so integral to the history of professional wrestling in the last few decades that to completely wipe him out, I mean, it'd be like, I've read the analogy, it'd be like trying to explain World War II to someone without mentioning Adolf Hitler. It's like, how could you discuss professional wrestling over the last 30 years, however long he's been wrestling? I don't know.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to.
No.
But I think they've missed a trick there, is because with the whole undertones of racism bubbling, with police officers killing innocent civilians, they could have reformed his character and basically shown that it's wrong to be racist, but help him.
Well, I mean, what's
not
being funny? What are WWE supposed to be doing? I mean, they're a professional wrestling business.
Yeah.
They're not counsellors or, I don't know, what are you expecting Vince McMahon to be doing to help Hulk Hogan? I don't think they're friends even. I think they probably have beef before this.
Yeah. Well, I just feel that, people that are in certain positions should, help those that are stupid in the public. And, because people are easily swayed, aren't they?
Well, it has sent a message because he was racist on a tape.
Yeah.
And we should get back to that because, the circumstance of the recording and the release were a bit iffy. But he's been sacked. I mean, a message has been sent, hasn't it?
Yeah.
To people. If you're racist, you could lose everything.
Yeah. Okay. It's fair. It's a good point. I have nothing to retort to that.
I mean, it's not as bad as what Bill Cosby did.
Yeah.
And he's getting away with that.
Well, we don't know if he actually did it or not.
He admitted it.
No, he admitted that one case. It doesn't mean he raped all of them.
I believe he admitted a number of cases, didn't he?
Yeah, but he said about the court that was a different situation.
That's still rape.
It's rape, but he didn't rape all of them. Well, we don't know he raped all of them.
Well, even if it wasn't, it's still assault to drug someone's drink.
Yeah.
Legally, in this country at least. I'm not sure about America, but spiking someone's drink is a crime.
What happens to the... Well, actually, no, that's a bit stupid. I'm not going to say that comment. Especially after the first one I had earlier on.
Saw that one.
Yeah, I feel sorry for Bill Cosby because, you know... I don't feel sorry for the stuff that
What do you feel sorry for? Like, he's a rapist by admission, essentially. He drugged a girl and shagged her. Like, fuck him.
What I feel sorry for him about is about that he had this legacy. And
no, don't feel sorry.
No. But then, to think about it, is that he's in this position of power. Yeah.
Right.
Like, he's got everything. He could get punani wherever he wanted. Like, there's probably girls.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't make sense why a rich celebrity would. You Well, I don't know. Maybe it's not as easy being a celebrity.
Yeah. Like, I don't feel sorry for him in terms of like the shaming of that is coming with what he is allegedly done. What I feel bad for is that he has destroyed his legacy.
Many people who hold memories dear of his past performances, it will now be spoiled for them. Much in the same way Hulk Hogan's has been, and we should probably return to that.
Yeah.
We've taken a massive rapey tangent.
We did. Yeah, so one thing I was reading some of the stuff that Hulk Hogan was saying after the racial slur, is that basically he was saying that he is not one for racism. I'm paraphrasing here. And that he feels let down, that he let himself down and used a slur that is against his personal beliefs. But to me...
Well, that's not true, because I've definitely seen an interview of him, this is a few years back now at least, where he was discussing back in his early career and sort of the words you couldn't use during sort of that time. And he definitely used, during the interview, the word nigger. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he's completely opposed to using it.
Yeah. Well, I think this is another thing that happened in white people, is that they were talking about there's a community where it was predominantly Italians, and there's been an influx of Chinese people. And
okay.
Basically, there's a lot of people that are against the influx of Chinese people because they've taken over most of the businesses. So if you look at the actual population statistics, it's actually 51% Chinese to what was, the rest were white, Italians, Jewish.
Well, what difference does that make?
But basically, there's a lot of those people that are racist and oppose those people. But there's one guy who's basically talking about how there's an offensive word, which is, if you were to chink in your armor. That was me trying to say it without saying it, but, I said it. But
you can say it, your mum's probably not listening.
Okay, yeah, so basically he basically wouldn't call the person into his face, but he'll say the word. So I think certain people think there's a certain
because
context of the word.
Yeah, is important. Like it, we're discussing it now. I just use the word nigger, and in context, it's. I mean, fine to say it. Not fine to say it.
I'm deeply offended that you, as a white person, has been able to use that word.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be allowed. Full stop under any circumstances. But you don't want to deliberately cause offence. I mean, what he said does suggest that he's maybe got sort of an ugly side to him, where he does feel.
Yeah.
I hate that word personally myself.
I just feel that you trying to say basically it doesn't reflect your character is foolishness because you've said it now. My
understanding is this was during a period in his life which was pretty tough. Like he was drunk and on drugs a lot of the time, sort of having a bit of depression, mental health issues. I'm not sure about the full extent, but not that that's an excuse for racism, because a lot of what he said was pretty racist. I mean, because he was discussing his daughter dating a black person and not being happy with that. Using the strongest language possible.
It's all good, like, I think we should just interbreed. Get rid of races. I've already told you about this. Get rid of the barriers.
Yeah, just have, everyone
people.
Mixed race.
Or we could just make everyone colourblind.
What, literally?
Yeah.
Just blind everyone?
Blind everyone. Well, don't blind everyone, like, just make sure they can't see colour.
Or just move a society past the notion that skin pigmentation has any meaning beyond, an adaptation to prevailing sunlight conditions.
Exactly. You're my wavelength there, Ollie.
Indeed.
I'm proud of you.
Cheers. What did you think about the way the tapes came about? Because they were recorded without his knowledge. So is this bullshit? Should people be... is it fair that he's now lost everything? That his career's been ruined because something's been leaked?
Yes and no. As in, there's people that have idolised him that are from those ethnic minorities that deserve to know what this idol is.
Well, do they? Are celebrities not entitled to a private life?
Was it racist?
Even if he is, if he's professional in his performance and he interacts with the fans nicely, is that not sort of? Everyone's allowed their own, opinions. They're private, sort of.
You're allowed your own opinions, but You're allowed your own opinions, but there's a point. Actually, no. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Of course you do, because I'm talking a lot of sense.
You are talking a lot of sense.
Obviously, now that it's out, it can't not be out.
Yeah.
And it's understandable, obviously, that he's lost his career. Well, it's sort of spiralling down the toilet. WWE's not wanting to use him anymore, like you said. They're sort of a Chris Benoit in him.
I do feel, however, that was a violation. Yeah, just a violation in general. And some people should take into context, obviously, as you have said, he had mental problems at the time. And, that is bad.
Thank you. Yes, mental health issues are bad.
Yeah. But what I did find funny, associated with the story, is the people trolling him. His foolishness to retweet them. Like, there was Jack Wilshere and Danny Welbeck basically talk. I can't remember what they said, but it was pretty amusing, and he retweeted them.
Like something like, this is my black mate, we know you're not racist, things like that.
There's other people like posting it, like there's Jordan and her son Harvey, and someone's posted that on there. But obviously, you didn't realise they were. There's
to be fair, why would he know who, British football players and celebrities are?
Well, there's Drake. Drake's like a pretty big thing in America. Like, he was posing next to a Manchester United football player, Rio Ferdinand. I'm sure you know who Drake is.
I'd probably be able to recognise him if I saw him yet.
Exactly. So why are you retweeting it? Like, unless he's trolling back, he's reverse trolling.
I'm not sure. I think he's probably in a very, very confused and dark space right now, and that his PR people should probably be handling his social media accounts, if they're not already.
And stop him from further damaging.
Well, I don't know what more damage that's going to do. Yeah. Falling for trolling.
Fucking love trolling. Trolling, they see me trolling.
Indeed.
Sorry, I couldn't resist you in that. This is big in the grime or hip hop. There's a bit of a divergence from what we're talking about.
Right, it's sudden sharp turn there.
But yeah, there's this whole new beef between Nicki Minaj, his beau, and her friend Drake.
Who's a bae?
Her bae is a guy called Meek Mill.
I've heard that name.
Yeah.
I've never listened to any of his music.
Yeah. So
what's it like?
That's pretty shit.
Okay.
No, there's a couple of songs that are good, but then I think he's more one of these artists that needs features to actually shine.
You mean someone who sings less on the track?
Yeah.
Okay.
But essentially, basically, he came out because one of his songs, basically Drake featured on, but in one of he basically has
beef
with him, basically saying that he didn't write the song himself, like he had a ghostwriter.
Drake had a ghostwriter, right?
But which
he's a bit of a pop star,
because hip hop has been changed by Kanye West.
For the better or worse?
For the better. So basically, if you look on a lot of his songs, there's like a team of like 10 to 15 people collaborating to write one song, like one.
So Kanye West doesn't even write all his own shit, and he's proclaiming himself to be some sort of genius.
Yeah, he's a genius though. He's using other people's to...
Again, I don't see him as an artist as much as a sort of a marketeer, a businessman, an entrepreneur.
Yeah. It's weird.
And he's selling the product of Kanye West.
Yeah. See, that was a filler. Basically, what I wanted to actually talk about was the VMAs.
Okay.
MTV VMAs.
Is that where they're having their beef?
No, this is Nicki Minaj. This is another thing related to race, but I just didn't know how to get there. But to be honest, I should just brought up race and Nicki Minaj.
Yeah, I mean, we were already talking about race, so you could have seamlessly transitioned into material without mentioning Drake and Meek Mill.
Which was irrelevant, and I kind of got bored of the conversation whilst we were having it.
You and me both, buddy.
Cool. Alright, so basically, they've obviously announced who's won the VMA, who is nominated for the VMAs. And in the best music video category, Taylor Swift was nominated, but Nicki Minaj's Anaconda was not nominated, to which she commented on and was saying about basically you have to be of a certain race or a certain person. Like if it wasn't her who did that video, it was someone else who did it, then they would have been nominated. So she's been on the race thing there.
Well, the big presumption she's making is that her music isn't a steaming crock of shit, and that video wasn't essentially just titillating softcore pornography. I mean, there was no choreography in it, was there?
Can you shake your badonkadonk like that, Ollie?
Well, I don't have a badonkadonk like that, so no. But getting people with big asses to shake them in front of a camera is not choreography.
It is, to get that rhythmic.
Don't get me wrong, it's entertaining. It's, nice to see, nice to look at, but it's not of merit. It doesn't deserve an award for anything.
I felt like it was beautiful. It was a beautiful piece of art. I'm going to take it as art.
Well, art's a very subjective thing, so, which kind of means award ceremonies are completely pointless, and if you're bothering about them, maybe you should take a good hard look at yourself and think about what you're actually doing it for, whether you're just some sort of vacuous twat out to make money and be famous, or if you actually want to create music that means something, but never mind. Who else was nominated just out of interest? Was it entirely exclusively white people? What was the problem? She said just white people.
I think it's mainly the fact that her video wasn't nominated for it personally.
It's just bitterness.
Yeah, because there's other people that have been nominated for other awards, like Kendrick Lamar,
not
Ed
best music video. Oh, he is for best music video, isn't he? I think I heard.
So there's another person of colour.
Isn't Beyonce also nominated?
Yeah.
So a curvy black woman has also been nominated. I don't know what she's been nominated for. I don't listen to Beyonce, but I presume the video was probably
pretty good.
Well,
one of the greatest of all time.
Greatest videos?
Yeah.
Which video? What song?
I don't know. I was just taking the piss out of Kanye West there. It's like, I'll give you a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there was a beef that happened between Nicki and Taylor because Taylor took offense to what Nicki Minaj said and saying how she doesn't like girl and girl beef. That's what Nicki Minaj is supposed to be promoting. And now obviously she's called her out. But then Nicki was just like, hey, I'm not calling you out. I'm just calling out the people that are giving these awards out.
How many other white girls are there who've been nominated? Because if it's just Taylor Swift, then it's fairly obvious what you're talking about there, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it was pretty much just Taylor Swift. But they're friends now. That's how foolish these celebrity people are.
They're
full of nothing, vacuous.
What a load of bollocks.
Nothingness, no substance.
Well, that's a good way to sum up the last sort of 5 minutes then, seeing as we've been talking about it.
Yeah. I don't know. Is there anything else that has piqued your interest this week?
There was one thing, now that I think about it, going back to, because we're talking about white guilt.
Yeah.
I didn't even read the article. I saw a headline for an article. It was on Slate. I just have to bring it up because you'll find it quite humorous. The article, again, just read the title, got too angry to read ahead. As a male feminist, I feel guilty about enjoying grilling. Yeah, that sinks in.
Feminist, I feel guilty about
enjoying grilling.
Is grilling a euphemism for some other sexual act?
No, it's not a sexual act. He means literally grilling meat, vegetables, or maybe mushrooms. Who knows? Whatever he's grilling. Like barbecuing, basically.
I don't get that.
Well...
I think he deserves a firm backhand to smack some sense.
Well, firstly, I'm not entirely sure why grilling is... I know there's a marketing image of it being a masculine thing, like the barbecue and stuff, but... I mean, grilling's a way of preparing food. Yeah.
Surely as a feminist, if like grilling is associated with a man in a barbecue, as a feminist, doing that is, empowering the feminist cause.
But he is a man, so he's just doing what he views as a masculine activity, which is dumb. Again, it's grilling, you're just cooking food.
This is like the people that
meat above hot coals.
They're reverse hipsters. No, you can't be reverse hipster.
That is a hipster thing to say.
Yeah. It's fucking foolish.
You're trying to draw attention to your image and, play yourself off as cool. But I just had to bring it up because what sort of ridiculous piece of shit do you have to be to feel guilty about enjoying something?
Burning meat.
It's just, why do you feel guilty about being a man? And enjoying something traditionally seen as masculine. Who gives a shit? I thought
that's the problem with
supposed to be moving. They bang on about moving past these gender roles,
but they're creating the barriers and
then all they bang on about is their identity as one thing or another, and their label and what activities they should and shouldn't be doing.
Yeah,
just fucking crack on, grill your meat,
and eat it after.
Yeah, indeed. Don't waste it.
Yeah,
grill and eat meat. It's delicious. All vegetables.
I
love grilling myself.
Was this like satirical?
No,
it was actually real.
Slate is riddled with this sort of shit.
Have they tested him?
For what?
Just anything, to see if he's actually
competent,
a real person. Insane, because I've never understood these things. I don't look at situations and be like, I just don't live my life in that way. I just do what I need to do.
I enjoy barbecuing. If I'm ever tending a barbecue, which is rare because there's usually a more masculine man doing it, but if I do, the first thing I think would be, the first thing I'm thinking isn't this is really masculine. I'm thinking I need this meat cooked.
Yeah, and I want to eat it now.
Indeed. Well, not now because it's not cooked, but
I want to eat it soon.
Soon, in the near future,
I
plan on eating this meat. Grill meat, drink beer, scratch your balls.
And shut the fuck up.
And just get on with it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I have to say about it, really. Like I said, I couldn't even bring myself to read the article.
I know there's another article that I showed you, actually, wasn't there, about the taxing of the white man.
Oh, yeah.
The white privilege tax.
White privilege tax. Very race heavy this week.
I am one for the white privilege tax.
Oh, piss off.
I think it's about time that you all paid for what your ancestors done to the people.
Well, fuck you.
I think my
ancestors, I don't think did shit.
I think the whole...
And even if they did, this is none of my doing.
It's got nothing to do with me. That's the thing, you cannot say it's nothing to do with me.
But it isn't.
It is something to do with you.
How is it something to do with me?
The people that did this live on through you, through your DNA.
That's fucking retarded.
So technically...
Well, you could go back to anyone and find a prick.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the line.
So there's a prick in you.
I beg your pardon.
So I think you should take ownership for that and pay some tax.
Well, that's ridiculous. Okay, what about the role sort of African tribes played in the slave trade? Does that mean that you should be paying yourself reparations?
No, this isn't the black people.
This is a white person problem.
This is a white person problem.
This is outright racism.
I know.
I saw the video you put. I believe it was a guy, Mark Dice, is it? Matt Dice. I think people should be able. I'm pretty sure it's Mark Dice. You should be able to find his channel on YouTube.
Yeah.
It was uploaded very recently.
Yeah.
Basically, this guy going around posing as someone collecting names for a petition. And just proposing a 1% income tax for all white people.
Mm.
And, you know, quite a few people signed it. And he said, you know, proof that minorities are after a white person tax. Which I thought was a bit of a sweeping generalisation, kind of ironic.
Does it not reflect the fact
he's trying to refute the sweeping generalisation of white privilege?
Deep down, a lot of Caucasian people do feel bad about having this privilege.
Again, I think it's an economic privilege.
Yeah.
You know, tax the rich more, tax the people with money more,
yeah.
regardless of if they're white or black or any other race.
Yeah.
And then, you know, lay off the poor a little bit. You know, don't tax them nearly as much. White or black or any other race.
That's fair.
I was thinking though, just a small thing I was thinking about it. I was wondering if there's any sort of selection bias with the way he went about it. Sort of, the people he approached, most people, when you're approached by someone like a charity worker, someone looking to get your signature or sort of a direct debit going, most people say, not, you know, not got the time, sorry mate, or even don't acknowledge and just walk on. The sort of person who gets, you know, stopped and talked, are they, I mean, I did some research, I've not been able to find anything, any papers suggesting anything, but I'm wondering whether the psychology of those people makes them more submissive or open to suggestion, more likely to sign if they've been stopped. He's already got their attention.
Yeah.
So have you ever seen this trick Darren Brown, sort of illusionist, does, where he's sort of talking to someone, and then he just puts in the suggestion in the middle of his talk, he's all confident and everything.
Yeah.
Oh, just give me your watch, and then carries on, and they do it subconsciously. They just start taking their watch off, and he walks off with the guy's watch. I'm just wondering if it's a similar thing. He's caught their attention. They're the sort of person who's suggestive to this sort of thing. He's a confident bloke.
Yeah.
He was approaching them. He seemed to be reasonable. You know, I doubt they even really thought that much about what they were even, you know, they probably gave no thought. They just took his word for it and just put their name to the paper. So I'm wondering if there is some selection bias in the people he chose. I don't think it's necessarily reflective of anyone.
I think with all those things, like, it's a YouTube video, so he's going to put the best bits in there, isn't he?
Well,
so there must be some sort of bias involved, regardless.
He didn't actually, I don't think he gave a number of the people he approached, the number of people he actually initiated conversation with, and the number of people who actually signed.
Okay.
So without that information, I mean, from a statistical point of view, it's kind of useless. I mean, it's just a bloke going up to some people in the streets and showing them, you know, a few selected clips. That's, say it out loud, it's kind of a bullshit video.
Yeah.
Having talked it through.
Sure. Right, on that note.
Yeah, no.
I think we've learned a lot, you know, racism's wrong.
Riddled some shit with bullets.
Bill Cosby probably shouldn't have raped those women.
He most certainly should not have raped those women, and
Hulk
you shouldn't
Hogan.
feel bad for him, Rich.
I won't. I think I've got over that now. Hulk Hogan, you know.
Childhood dreams for many people smashed into tiny racist shards.
Spoke about Nicki Minaj and Anaconda.
Her Anaconda dump.
Yeah. And then, we ended it with this nice chit chat.
Indeed. Yeah, it's been fairly race heavy this week.
Yeah.
But
hopefully we can stop talking about race and stuff.
As a society, just move forwards, all become one.
You know, and then we can fuck up other people from other planets.
Yeah, I mean, we've just discovered a planet. We need to be united as people against, you know, whatever the fuck's over there.
Take their freedom.
Get their oil.
Yeah. Cool.
Anyway, so we've been shooting the shit. I've been Ollie.
I've been Rich.
We'll continue to be those people, and we shall see you next time. Bye!
Peace!